Hey everyone, this is Sarah at the Catholic Homemaker, and today I have Monica Siembieda. I hope I pronounced your name right.
Close enough.
I have her with me. I'm doing a little something different today. We're going to be interviewing each other, and we're going to be talking all about our experiences with MLMs. And this is an anti-MLM video. First of all, I want to say a disclaimer. These are just our opinions and our experiences, and we just want to warn people about our own experiences. So these are based on our opinions. So let's jump in. Tell us about your channel first.
So I started YouTube a really long time ago, and then I took an almost 2-year hiatus. And I started off with more of like fashion, beauty, that sort of thing, and it didn't really take off because I'm not good at beauty stuff. So after I discovered the anti-MLM movement, I actually decided that I was going to share my story. And I was only planning on uploading one video, and it did really well, so I just continued it. And then now I just continuously do either deep dives or things based on my experience, and then I mix in some other stuff too, so that it's not just anti-MLM, but it's predominantly anti-MLM.
Okay. Yeah, and that's how I came across you, actually. I was seeing these anti-MLM videos in my feed, and I happened to come across, like, I think one of your first videos, and I was like, yeah, that was like a lot of the experiences I had too. So I was just really intrigued, and ever since I've been watching
You went down the rabbit hole. That tends to happen a lot. I'll go down the rabbit hole too. That's actually how I even started like my own thing on my channel, was because I came across, I think Savannah Marie was the first one that I came across, and because she just popped up in my recommended, and then it just kind of spiraled from there, and I came across all these other, I didn't even know that the anti-MLM like community was a thing. I didn't know that the subreddit was a thing. And yeah, so it was just kind of crazy that it's this whole big movement. And now, after being part of the community, some of the things that I notice out in the world or even in like shows and stuff, like there's this one cartoon show that I've been watching for the past couple of weeks, just binge watching it. It's Bob's Burgers, and they literally in there always have something MLM related, and like every couple of, yeah, so I don't know if they're anti-MLM or if they're just like trying to bring some kind of awareness to it. I'm not sure, but it's really funny.
That's definitely on my list to watch.
Don't watch it in front of, well, actually, you might be able to watch it in front of your kids. I would say watch it by yourself first and see if it's appropriate for them.
No, I don't really have them watch TV for the most part.
Okay. Yeah. Because there's certain things that get referenced in there that I don't know. I don't have kids, so I don't know what's appropriate and what's inappropriate. So, but there's some things in there that might not be appropriate for kids.
Yeah, probably.
But
so which MLMs have you been a part of, and why did you join them in the first place?
so I've been part of Mary Kay and Beachbody. Mary Kay kind of, well, actually, let me rewind a little bit, because I didn't even think to mention this in any of my videos, but my first personal experience, besides my parents being part of MLMs, but my first personal experience was actually with vector marketing. And after I had graduated college, I was looking for jobs and everything, and I got, someone emailed me and they asked me for my resume and stuff, and it was for a marketing position. So I was like, okay, well, that's what my minor was. So, I mean, or my concentration. So I was like, that's pretty cool. And so I went for the interview, and it was in like this really sketchy building. And honestly, like I texted my dad ahead of time, and I was like, Dad, I'm at this location if I get kidnapped or something. Because it was just like, it was so sketchy. And but then when I went in there, they said they were vector marketing. And I remember when I was in college, they were talking about, one of the professors had actually talked about MLM and how vector marketing was part of it. And I knew from my parents experienced that it wasn't a good fit, I guess you can say. So I ran for the hills after that. And then when I got older, how old was I? I want to say, I think it was like 25 or 26 when I joined Mary Kay. My upline had found me in Panera. I was in Panera with my friends coworkers. We were in there for lunch, and she was walking around and saying how, she gives out free facials and stuff like that. I didn't know that she was part of Mary Kay. So I was like, oh, free facial, like that's pretty cool, because at the time I had gotten myself into quite a steep amount of credit card debt. So I was like, oh, anything free was, great. And so I ended up meeting with her, and we met at a local Dunkin' Donuts, and she gave me a free facial, which was basically me just taking off my makeup. And she had like a little bowl on the table, and I was just like washing my face in this little bowl that was on the table. It was so awkward. And yeah, it was so awkward. And so she tried to get me to buy the product, and I was like, no, like I don't really have the money for it right now. So, like thank you for your time. But she just would not stop. Then she started to pitch me the business opportunity. And she was like, oh, well, if you don't have money, like this can offer you financial freedom. I was able to pay off on my student loan debt. And now, I'm paying for me, my kids, my husband. Like I was able to pay for my husband to open up his own business. And so, obviously I was super intrigued, because at the time I was like, well, financial freedom, like that's something I really needed at the time. So I signed up, and the way that she got me to sign up was when I told her, I was like, I don't have the money to spend on this. Like I don't. Well, you can sign up for the Mary Kay credit card. And it's, yeah. And she was like, it's interest free for, I think it was like 12 months or something like that. So I was like, okay, well, that's cool, because then I could just pay it off. And so I got approved for it, and I bought one of the higher starter kits. I don't know if it's still the same now, because this was back in like 2014, 2015. And so I bought the starter kit, and it cost me a little over $2,000. Yeah, and that was a ton of money for me at the time. Like that's a lot of money for anybody, really. I feel like 2,000. There's a lot you can do with $2,000. And then the only customers I had were myself, my mom, and one of my friends who has jumped around from MLM to MLM for, I want to say, the past 10 years. She's tried, I want to say, almost every single MLM out there. And I think she just felt bad for me. So she bought the product from me. And then I decided that this wasn't for me anymore. I was going to all the conferences, I was going to all the meetings, I was going to all the trainings, and I wasn't getting anything from it. So I figured, okay, well, I'm gonna let my upline know, like that's it. And she had other ideas. She basically told me, she's like, oh no, like don't give up yet, like you really have to hustle, blah blah blah. And I'm like, okay, well, I have a full-time job, so I don't have to, I don't have the time that you have to be constantly hustling, which we all know is not the case when it comes to MLMs. The structure just fails everybody. Well, except for the 1% at the top. But so basically what she ended up doing was she got me to stay with the team for a little bit longer. And then I contacted her again, and I was like, hey, this really isn't for me. Like, I'm really sorry, it's not for me. And she was like, okay, well, we'll have all the other girls buy your inventory so that you get the full price for it. Not, because if at the time, like I said, I don't know if it's still the same, but at the time with Mary Kay, you only got like, I think it was 80 or 90% back or something like that. Even if the makeup wasn't expired, like you only got a certain percentage back. And but you had to pay for shipping. So so shipping $2,000 worth of product, like I had boxes, like giant boxes. So she never got back to me, and so I contacted her again, nothing. And I just sent the product back to Mary Kay because I was like, I'm done with this. Like, I'm going on vacation. I need to have, like, make sure that I don't have this extra debt on my shoulder to worry about while I'm on vacation. And I knew that when I came back from vacation, I would be too tired to do it. And then that would like prolong the process even longer. Well, as soon as I did that, she contacted me and was like, we were going to buy that from you. And I was like, okay, well, I didn't hear from you for like a month. So I kind of figured that you were just, ghosting me. And so I ended up just, that was it. And then several years later, in 2017, I had a lot of stuff that was going on in my life. And so when I came across this one post on Facebook, I had actually gotten to the biggest size I've ever been before, and I have a chronic problem with one of my knees, so I can't be I can't be over a specific weight because it actually hurts to walk. And I got really, really heavy. And I just have to make that disclaimer because I've had people say like, well, that's not big for your height. And I'm like, no, like I have a problem, so I can't be at that weight. But I got really, really heavy. And I came across this post, and this girl was advertising to be part of her challenge group for Beachbody. And I saw her progress, and I was like, this girl looks amazing. Like, I can totally do this as long as I have someone that's, kind of coaching me through the process. So I joined her challenge group. I did 2 of her challenge groups, and I lost, I think by that point, I lost like 15 or 20 pounds or something. And, oh, she's so cute. But yeah, so I lost like 15 or 20 pounds by that point. And then I decided that I wanted to be a coach. So then I decided, I was like, you know what? I kind of want to be able to help people that were in the same position that I was in, because I was at the point where I just felt so stuck and lost. And I just didn't know what to do. And I've always been a person that's been really, really obsessed with my weight and body image and stuff like that, like how a lot of women are. But I was like more so really obsessed. And when I saw like how much I had let myself go, kind of a thing, I got really nervous. And so the feeling that I had, I wanted to help people that had that same exact feeling. So I became a coach, and one of the first things that I asked my upline, I was like, is this a pyramid scheme? And she was like, no, this is multi-level marketing. Like, it's completely different. Pyramid schemes are illegal. This isn't illegal. And so I was like, okay, well, I'll take her word for it. And she didn't promise me financial freedom or anything like that, but she was like, this is my side job, and like literally I do nothing and I get all this money, which was not true, because there's so much that goes into being a Beachbody coach that they don't tell you. And so I ended up, my first month being a coach, I signed up like 5 people. So I made a decent amount of money in that first month. And then after that, no one wanted to repurchase the Shakeology. And that was a way that I would make money unless you recruited someone. So I never got to recruit anybody, because once I saw just how little money you can make, I was like, I can't put someone else through that situation. So I ended up I told my coach, I was like, it's not for me. And after I left, that whole sisterhood just did not exist anymore. So unfortunately, but yeah, so that's kind of my story, I guess.
Yeah, thanks for sharing that. But I guess what was the thing that made you realize you could never participate in MLMs again?
After my experience with Beachbody, and after the countless amount of people who just were constantly contacting me on Instagram and Facebook, and I started to see like just how predatory they are. And when I started to notice, because we all know the difference between a pyramid scheme and an MLM, but when I started to notice that their emphasis was all on recruiting, that's when I was like, okay, if their emphasis is not on the product and it's on recruiting, that's that's like a red flag for me. And once I started noticing that that was a narrative that all of these, Hun bots were starting to do, I was like, you know what? I'm done with it. I don't want anything to do with it. And the fact that I lost so much money and I lost so much time with my own experience, that was just it for me. And I wasn't really rude to anybody. I always told people, like, please don't take it personally. It's nothing against you or anything. It's the company and the structure. And then I went down the rabbit hole of anti-MLM on YouTube and on Reddit, and that was kind of where I got more vocal with it, I guess you can say.
Okay. Also, I wanted to share, I shared this in one of my other MLM videos. It was the one where I was talking about just my whole overall experience. And the one that I'm currently a part of is Beauty Counter. And I really love them because they're all about clean beauty. There's like the beauty industry is really toxic out there. And they've actually like advocated for safer laws. And their products really work too. Like most of them are pretty good products. So I guess that's where my dilemma is or was. I'm like not as much confused because I guess I've seen that there are some alternatives, but do you have any advice for anybody who actually thinks the products are good? What they should do if they have a dilemma like that?
I mean, like because we've actually talked about this before. Honestly, I think that, okay, because for example, when it came to Beachbody, if Beachbody wasn't an MLM, I would probably still be using their programs and their products. But because it's an MLM, that's why I don't want to do it anymore. So what I've done, being someone who has always been really, what's the word I'm looking for? I guess obsessed. You can say obsessed. Someone who's always been obsessed with like, healthy lifestyle and stuff like that. There's other ways that you can go for, I'm just going to use Beachbody as an example. There are so many free workouts on YouTube. There are so many good people out there who have really, really good workouts, and they're, whether it be yoga or Tabata or cardio or, building muscle, whatever the case may be, it's all out there for free. And there's so many blogs out there, there's so many articles out there, and there's so many fitness coaches out there, like actual legitimate certified fitness coaches that are out there giving this information for free. The only thing that you really have to pay for is your food. And if you do want to go to a gym, like, you pay for that membership. So there's always, I think that when it comes to, if you really love a product, because I've gotten comments before on a lot of my videos saying like, well, I really like the product. So, I don't want to either stop being part of the MLM because I do it for the discount, or, I'm buying from my friends and my family. But in that situation, I think I would say do your research and look for something that is either similar or, test out other products. And of course it is, especially when it comes to like skincare and makeup, because that is so hard to find something that actually works for you, because everyone's skin is completely different. So that's something that is really, really, really hard to, be able to research. And you do have to be kind of savvy on ingredients and stuff like that to make sure. But I mean, at the end of the day, you just have to remember that if you are purchasing that product, you are still supporting that business model that is just not a sustainable business for, the MLM Huns that are losing money. But I would just say, I just recommend for people to do a ton of research. Yes, it's annoying. I get that. And it is a lot of work, especially if you found something that really does work. On my new skin video, a lot of people were actually saying, they were like, well, I love the products. And they've actually been featured in a lot of magazines. A lot of people have advocated for them and said like their products are good or whatever. But at the end of the day, you have to remember that you're still supporting that business model. So it's really, you just have to do your research and look for, different types of products and everything. So.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's pretty good advice. I want to get into a different topic now, kind of about how they have similar or the same tactics across most or all MLMs. And I want to mention this one movie I just recently saw called Believe.
Mm-hmm.
It was actually made in 2007, and that was before I joined any MLM. I was in college at the time. So thankfully I hadn't done it by then. But anyway, it's a mockumentary on MLMs, and it's kind of cheesy, corny, but there's a lot of truth to it.
Mhm.
And I was just surprised. Like, this movie was made 12 years ago, almost 13 years ago. And I was just like, a lot of those things, if not all those things they made fun of in the movie, were things that I experienced being part
Mhm.
of MLMs. And one of the things was, don't prejudge people, you know?
Mhm.
That's one thing I learned in like Juice Plus, especially. They were always saying, don't prejudge people. Um, that's actually narcissistic of you to, you know, not share it with somebody. And I was like, what? That's narcissistic.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's just, I don't know. What do you think about that?
Well, when it comes to the different MLMs and how they all use the same tactic, I think it's because those tactics work um, on people who are either vulnerable or even the people that they target. Um, it's the same type of person because it's so easy to target those people. So, for example, let's just because you have your baby. Let's say that you're a stay-at-home mom, for example, and you're looking to do something from home. You're looking to do work from home, whatever the case may be, or you have an office job, and prior to having your child, you were very career driven, and you're looking for something different because you do want to be home with your kid. Well, any single hun that sees that, they're gonna be like, I'm gonna grab her on this MLM train because
Mhm.
it's they all just use the same. It's all marketing tactics. That's really all that it is. It's just marketing tactics, and they know that it works. It's worked for so long, and now with the I guess now with the rise of social media, you can see more of the MLM, like the people from multiple different MLMs. You see their tactics and they just kind of translate into, because at the end of the day, even though they're selling different products, it's the same business model and it's the same recruitment tactics. Everything is exactly the same. So I think that that's why they're all doing the same thing, is because it's easy, it works, and I mean, I guess, yeah, it works. That's really all that it is.
It's just interesting to me that it's pretty much with all of them the same tactics. Is it like people leaving one MLM and then starting another, and them, I guess, making that the culture of that MLM?
I think that that's what it is because I just did a video on a new company called Evera, and it's so the guy, the CEO of Evera, he was a very high-ranking person in Unique. Then he left Unique and started another company, another network marketing or MLM, whatever you want to call it, called Mayel. I think that's how you say it. Apparently Mayel got sued by Unique because they claim that Mayel, this is all alleged because I didn't look too much into it, so this is all alleged, but they got sued because he was like stealing ideas, or he took like basically the same makeup and just like resold it with the Mayel name on it, or whatever the case may be. So that got shut down. And then he started another company in between that and Evera. Evera is also an MLM. But the
Mhm.
crazy part about Evera is that there's no product or anything. And I mean, I haven't checked it since that video, so maybe it's a little different. But with like the website and everything, there was nothing on the website. And the only thing that you can do is either sign up as an Evera influencer or you can recruit people. That just screams pyramid scheme. um, but yeah, so I think that for cases like that, they just go from MLM to MLM, and it's just like you were saying, they just go from MLM to MLM, and they're just taking the same tactics, and especially if it's the same industry, like it's all the beauty industry, so it's going to be the same target market, it's going to be the same people that you're looking to recruit, so it's easier to just have the same exact marketing tactics because they work.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much, Monica, for sharing your experiences. I know we're getting a little long in the interview, so um, I don't know if there's anything you want to say as a last piece of advice or any resources you want to share.
I would say for anyone watching this, go down the anti-MLM rabbit hole if you're thinking about joining an MLM. And definitely look at, but even if someone is watching this and they think of joining an MLM, really research it, look at the income disclosure statements, look at the compensation plan, and just look into the company before you sign up. Of course, I'm going to say don't sign up with it, but if you're really, really adamant on signing up with one, really, really do your research before you join.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree more.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you everybody for watching. And if you liked it, please give it a thumbs up, hit that notification bell, and please subscribe to my channel. Until next time, bye.